Wednesdays. If you are new here, hello. Please say hey in the chat. We do like to talk to each other there. Um, and we love visitors. So say hey, like, share, subscribe, do all of the YouTube things. If you hit subscribe, you'll get the little bell thing. Hit all so you get all of the notifications when we're going to go live. If there's updates, um, the chat. The chat is absolutely popping already. Um, and everybody's here. You guys, this is so great. So, uh, Todd the Fox was the first one to comment, getting wild tonight. Karen, let's get wild. Absolutely. And Miss Kelly, hello, hello. Thank you so much for being here with us again. You guys are my core group, and I love you so much. Um, this has been so great just to be with you guys, share these stories. We are halfway, halfway through our book. So that's how far we've got. I missed the wild jokes. Um, yeah, we are the wild bunch. So, or wild stallions. I mean, we could pun it up all night. I'm all in. You guys throw some stuff in the chat. Love it. Um, I'm feeling a little under the weather tonight. So I know when I went live on Facebook earlier, I said we might do two. We are only going to do one. I'm hoping this is just a little spring cold, but my throat has been sore. And so we have tea tonight. Oh, we got some new folks in the chat. This is great. Hello, Justin and the 13th Archangel. Hi. Thank you so much for being here with us. This is a great group. We have a lot of fun. I hope you guys are enjoying the stories. We've not had accents for a little bit, so that's me giving you guys a break on that. I am probably going to be taking a lot more drinks tonight, so I apologize if that kind of makes the story choppy. But again, I don't feel great. But we do this live, so we were going to do it live tonight. So for those of you who are wondering what everybody is meaning in the chat, our book, The World's Greatest Short Stories, is broken up by author. And tonight we are starting Oscar Wilde, who some of you are going to be very familiar with. Some of you he might be new to, which is great. I love introducing new authors either to you guys, or some of these authors have been new to me. So it's a lot of fun if you are new. Again, do all the YouTube things. And yeah, so our story tonight is called The Sphinx Without a Secret. It was first published in May of 1887. Because it is wild, there might be a little, I'm not sure if there's going to be anything kind of off color, risque. So if you are sensitive to things, I'm just letting you know. If you don't know who Oscar Wilde is, pause this, go check him out, come back if you're watching this later. If you're live, I'm sorry, we're just jumping right in. And yeah, if he is new to you, maybe he'll catch you with something. But we're going to get started. Thank you again so much, all of you guys that are here. It's so great. I'm watching the number, and it's just making me smile. One afternoon, I was sitting outside the Café de la Paix, watching the splendor and shabbiness of Parisian life, and wondering over my vermouth at the strange panorama of pride and poverty that was passing before me, when I heard someone call my name. I turned round and saw Lord Murchison. We had not met since we had been at college together nearly 10 years before, so I was delighted to come across him again and shook hands warmly. Hi, Jen. Excuse me. At Oxford, we had been great friends. I had liked him immensely. He was so handsome, so high spirited, and so honorable. We used to say of him that he would be the best of fellows if he did not always speak the truth. But I think we really admired him all the more for his frankness. I found him a good deal changed. He looked anxious and puzzled and seemed to be in doubt about something. I felt it could not be modern skepticism, for Murchison was the stoutest of Tories and believed in the Pentateuch as firmly as he believed in the House of Peers. So I concluded that it was a woman and asked him if he was married yet. I don't understand women well enough, he answered. My dear Gerald, I said, women are meant to be loved, not to be understood. I cannot love what I cannot trust, he replied. I believe you have a mystery in your life, Gerald, I exclaimed. Tell me about it. Excuse me. Let us go for a drive, he answered. It is too crowded here. No, not a yellow carriage. Any other color. There, that dark green one will do. And in a few moments we were trotting down the boulevard in the direction of the Madeleine. Where shall we go to? I said. Oh, anywhere you like, he answered. To the restaurant in the Bois. We will dine there, and you shall tell me about yourself. I want to hear about you first, I said. Tell me your mystery. He took from his pocket a little silver clasped morocco case and handed it to me. I opened it. Inside, there was a photograph of a woman. She was tall and slight, and strangely picturesque, with her large, vague eyes and loosened hair. She looked like a clairvoyant and was wrapped in rich furs. What do you think of that face? He said. Is it truthful? I examined it carefully. It seemed to me the face of someone who had a secret, but whether that secret was good or evil, I could not say. Its beauty was a beauty molded out of many mysteries. The beauty, in fact, which is psychological, not plastic. And the faint smile that just played across the lips was far too subtle to be really sweet. Hi, Dad. We got the whole family tonight. I love it. Well, he cried impatiently, what do you say? She is the Gioconda in Sables, I answered. Let me know all about her. Not now, he said, after dinner, and began to talk of other things. When the waiter brought us our coffee and cigarettes, I reminded Gerald of his promise. He rose from his seat, walked 2 or 3 times up and down the room, and, sinking into an armchair, told me the following story. All right, you guys settled in? Ready to go? One evening, he said, I was walking down Bond Street about 5 o'clock. There was a terrific crush of carriages, and the traffic was almost stopped. Close to the pavement was standing a little yellow brougham, maybe, which, for some reason or other, attracted my attention. As I passed by, there looked out from it the face I showed you this afternoon. It fascinated me immediately. All that night I kept thinking of it, and all the next day. I wandered up and down that wretched row, peering into every carriage and waiting for the yellow one. But I could not find the beauty, and at last I began to think she was merely a dream. About a week afterwards, I was dining with Madame de Restel. Dinner was for 8 o'clock, but at 8:30 we were still waiting in the drawing room. Finally, the servant threw open the door and announced Lady Alroy. It was the woman I had been looking for. She came in very slowly, looking like a moonbeam in gray lace, and to my intense delight, I was asked to take her in to dinner. After we had sat down, I remarked quite innocently, "I think I caught sight of you in Bond Street some time ago, Lady Alroy." She grew very pale and said to me in a low voice, "Pray do not talk so loud. You may be overheard." I felt miserable at having made such a bad beginning and plunged recklessly into the subject of the French plays. She spoke very little, always in the same low musical voice, and seemed as if she was afraid of someone listening. I fell passionately, stupidly in love, and the indefinable atmosphere of mystery that surrounded her excited my most ardent curiosity. When she was going away, which she did very soon after dinner, I asked her if I might call and see her. She hesitated for a moment, glanced round to see if anyone could hear us, and then said, "Yes, tomorrow at 5:15." I begged Madame Rastel to tell me about her, but all that I could learn was that she was a widow with a beautiful house in Park Lane, and as some scientific bore began a dissertation on widows as exemplifying the survival of the matrimonial fittest, I left and went home. The next day I arrived at Park Lane punctual to the moment, but was told by the butler that Lady Alroy had just gone out. I went down to the club quite unhappy and very much puzzled, and after long consideration wrote her a letter, asking if I might be allowed to try my chance some other afternoon. I had no answer for several days, but at last I got a little note saying that she would be at home on Sunday at 4, and with this extraordinary postscript: "Please do not write to me here again. I will explain when I see you." Hmm. On Sunday she received me and was perfectly charming, but when I was going away she begged of me, if I ever had occasion to write to her again, to address the letter to Mrs. Knox, care of Whitaker's Library, Green Street. "There are reasons," she said, "why I cannot receive letters to my own house." Is she married? Or is she a ghost? All through the season, I saw a great deal of her, and the atmosphere of mystery never left her. Sometimes I thought that she was in the power of some man, but she looked so unapproachable that I could not believe it. It was really very difficult for me to come to any conclusion, for she was like one of those strange crystals that one sees in museums, which are at one moment clear and at another clouded. At last, I determined to ask her to be my wife. I was sick and tired of the incessant secrecy that she imposed on all my visits and on the few letters I sent her. I wrote to her at the library to ask if she could see me the following Monday at 6. She answered yes, and I was in the seventh heaven of delight. I was infatuated with her. In spite of the mystery I thought then, in consequence of it, I see now. No, it was the woman herself I loved. The mystery troubled me, maddened me. Why did chance put me in its track? "You discovered it, then?" I cried. "I fear so," he answered. "You can judge for yourself." When Monday came round, I went to lunch with my uncle, and about 4 o'clock I found myself in the Marylebone Road. My uncle, you know, lives in Regent's Park. I wanted to get to Piccadilly and took a short cut through a lot of shabby little streets. Suddenly, I saw in front of me the Lady Alroy, deeply veiled and walking very fast. On coming to the last house in the street, she went up the steps, took out a latchkey, and let herself in. Oh, hoo hoo. It's getting good. Here's the mystery, I said to myself, and I hurried on and examined the house. It seemed a sort of place for letting lodgings. On the doorstep lay her handkerchief, which she had dropped. I picked it up and put it in my pocket. Then I began to consider what I should do. I came to the conclusion that I had no right to spy on her, and I drove down to the club. At 6, I called to see her. She was lying on a sofa in a tea gown of silver tissue looped up by some strange moonstones that she always wore. She was looking quite lovely. I am so glad to see you, she said. I have not been out all day. I stared at her in amazement, and pulling the handkerchief out of my pocket, handed it to her. You dropped this in Cumnor Street this afternoon, Lady Alroy, I said very calmly. She looked at me in terror, but made no attempt to take the handkerchief. What were you doing there? I asked. What right have you to question me? She answered. The right of a man who loves you, I replied. I came here to ask you to be my wife. She hid her face in her hands and burst into a flood of tears. You must tell me, I continued. She stood up and, looking me straight in the face, said, Lord Murchison, there's nothing to tell you. You want to meet someone, I cried. This is your mystery. She grew dreadfully white and said, I went to meet no one. Can't you tell me the truth? I exclaimed. I have told it, she replied. I was mad, frantic. I don't know what I said, but I said terrible things to her. Finally, I rushed out of the house. She wrote me a letter the next day. I sent it back unopened and started for Norway with Alan Colville. After a month, I came back, and the first thing I saw in the Morning Post was the death of Lady Alroy. She had caught a chill at the opera and had died in 5 days of congestion of the lungs. I shut myself up and saw no one. I had loved her very much. I had loved her so madly. Good God, how I had loved that woman. You went to the street, to the house in it, I said. Yes, he answered. Sorry, guys. Let me get a little bit of tea. I hope you guys are enjoying this story. I am. Oh, for those of you that were wondering when I said hi, Dad, my dad sends me Cowboys. Okay, let's hear about the house. One day I went to Cumnor Street. I could not help it. I was tortured with doubt. I knocked at the door, and a respectable looking woman opened it to me. I asked if she had any rooms to let. Well, sir, she replied, the drawing rooms are supposed to be let, but I have not seen the lady for 3 months, and as rent is owing on them, you can have them. Is this the lady? I said, showing the photograph. That's her, sure enough, she exclaimed. And when is she coming back, sir? The lady is dead, I replied. Oh, sir, I hope not, said the woman. Lodger. She paid me 3 guineas a week merely to sit in the drawing rooms now and then. She met someone here, I said, but the woman assured me that it was not so, that she always came alone and saw no one. What on earth did she do here? I cried. She simply sat in the drawing room, sir, reading books and sometimes had tea, the woman answered. I did not know what to say, so I gave her a sovereign and went away. Now, what do you think it all meant? You don't believe the woman was telling the truth. I do. Then why did Lady Alroy go there? My dear Gerald, I answered, Lady Alroy was simply a woman with a mania for mystery. She took these rooms for the pleasure of going there with her veil down and imagining she was a heroine. She had a passion for secrecy. She herself was merely a sphinx without a secret. Do you really think so? I'm sure of it, I replied. He took the Morocco case, opened it, and looked at the photograph. I wonder, he said at last. That was a pretty good one. Do you ever have days like that where you want to just like knows you? I mean, okay, so this might just be me. Um, if Haley or Rachel are watching, you guys probably share my weirdness for this, but I would do that if I lived in like a bigger city where I thought I could get away with it, or like you could blend in a little bit, people wouldn't really notice. Like back in the 1880s when you could walk around with a veil. Yeah, my dramatic self would totally do that. Oh, because seriously, okay, we've talked about this. We talked about this last year when we were um, reading Dracula's Guest. I want all of Mina's wardrobe, all of it. Oh, oh, but it's not the fashion, and I can't afford to have somebody make all that stuff for me. There's so much fabric. There's so much, but it would be great to just have like your fitted like little jacket, but then a heavy veil coming from your hat, just, and then just sitting in a quiet room reading a book like we're doing. That's all that's missing is a heavy veil. Sorry, guys. I was just thinking about how it'd be so hot. Like today was like 80 degrees, so it'd be too hot for that. But yeah. Anywho, sweet. I am going to get off of here and finish my tea and take the good nighttime stuff. And then I can do it. Kelly, we should try. Oh, we should get a bunch of us to dress like it's 1880s London for Halloween. You could do it if it was cool out. We could probably borrow costumes from a theater or rent them. Some theaters do rent out their costumes. Okay. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I'm sorry it's like so scattered tonight. Mm, I need to go back there so bad. If you guys don't know what Foy's um, is that Fairborn? Yeah, right? Is it Fairborn? Technically, it's one of the first places Todd ever took me. Um, but yeah, costumes, Halloween, so much, so much. But anyway, guys, I keep saying but anyway, and then going off on my own little tangents. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me again on Wednesday. We will be together tomorrow, 7:30 on the other channel. That's the KT 3.14. And then tomorrow night, we will have an author on the Hallowed Hearth, which will also be live. All of this is on YouTube. I have started a Discord for this channel. So if you guys have Discord, go over there and or send me whatever your Discord little handles are, and I will add you. But that way we've got one place where you guys can send short story ideas, compilations, anything that you want to see here on the channel. You can send it here or there or Facebook or wherever. But again, like, share, subscribe. Please do all of the YouTube things. Uh, please share over on Facebook. We are trying to um, outsmart some of the algorithms. So you guys can please, please, please share the events over there. And I will see y'all later. Great night. Bye.